Hey, it's your girl Constance Carter, and welcome to the Fly Nubian Money. Listen, today we are diving into a topic that has sparked a lot of conversations. Class differences within the Black community. Do you guys really think that we have class differences? Is there a division between Black elitists? Well, let's talk about it. Join me as I talk to our queens, Miss Athena Gardner, CPA and wealth expert, your girl Erica Lewis, author of Faith in Transition, Dr. Charm. She is a spiritual coach, a naturopathic doctor, and a girl and a stand-up comedian. And come on. And your girl April Sampay, entertainer, real estate entrepreneur, and your girl Constance Carter, all things wealth activist, Black power, y'all. All right, ladies, let's get into it. I love this topic personally because I often travel in the world of the different classes, just by way of me being a little bit of a bougie and a little bit of ratchet. I'm a little rough around the edges. So I can kind of, I like to say I can go from the White House to the trap house. Now, my good girlfriend, April Sampay, doesn't think that I can go to the trap house, although I believe that I can. She doesn't think that I can get along there. But what do you guys think about the whole idea, Dr. Charm, of the class system amongst the Afro-American community?
Well, unfortunately, there is a dichotomy that exists when you become educated. Education in many parts of our community is associated with whiteness and an aspirational whiteness. And I can't remember when I first learned how to code switch. And for people who don't know what code switching is, that's being able to speak in African-American vernacular English, which is what you may be spoken to at home. I'll be going to the store. I'm about to go do this, blah, blah, blah. And then versus, what we consider proper English, even though AAVE is English, it's a dialect, but proper, textbook English. And I remember when I first learned how to code switch, because I went to a mixed school in an accelerated program in middle school after being in a regular program that was a predominantly Black elementary school. And I started getting called an Oreo. And I remember being called a white woman. Somebody called me a white woman just a couple years ago. This girl hit me in Chicago. She sideswiped me, and when I pulled her over and asked her for us to exchange car insurance information, she offered to pay me $200 on the spot. And then when I said no, I want to file a police report, she called me a white woman, which I thought was hilarious.
I've never ever been accused of being a white woman. That's crazy.
I've been called white woman a couple of times, which is, as pro-Black.
They called you the police. She called you the police. Is basically what she was calling me.
She called me the law. We call them the law in Texas. The laws is coming. When they used to the co-paws come, it's the laws. But the thing is that Black people, we have to be so dynamic and changeable and be able to move in so many different spaces. And when people get education, I think for people who are in the working class or the lower socioeconomic classes, they assume they may resent Black people who have gone upwards and assume that we look down on them, when that for many of us is further from the truth. Now, we have people who do look down and say, well, I don't want to be affiliated with that anymore. But there are people who actually say, no, I want to help my people. I want to use what I have to help my people. Kyrie Irving just sent this girl $20,000. I think she was trying to finish at Johns Hopkins or Harvard, and she needed $6,000. She did a GoFundMe, and this brother sent her $22,000. You can't do that if you get an EBT. You can't help people when you don't have resources. That's so, anyways, I have to say that there is a class resentment that happens because people have a valid fear that when people leave their class and go upwards, that they will forget about or look down on or resent and have vitriol for the lower class, for the people who are in a lower socioeconomic class. But for me, that can't be further from the truth. I work with all kinds of people. I spent 10 years working on the south side of Chicago in healthcare and was grateful to be able to help my community. But to be called a white woman when I got sideswiped in the neighborhood where I decided to buy a Black home in a Black neighborhood to pay property taxes in a Black community was laughable. Oh, it
Yeah, let's
exists.
get into it though. But let's get into it because that's a very, very real thing about the idea of having to code switch or the way we have to navigate in different spaces. Erica, and then I want to ask the audience as well. You know, this is a dialogue and not a monologue. So we want you to talk back to us and talk black to us. Has there ever been a time where you had to code switch? Do you have to code switch when you get up and go to work every day? Has anybody ever accused you of acting or talking white? Have you ever been called the police like Dr. Charm? What has been your experience? Erica, how do you feel about the navigation of code switching? Do you have to do that in your daily life?
Listen, let me tell you, I worked on ships. I was a cruise director for 3 years. So you better believe I was code switching. Not only was I on ships, but I worked for a Dutch cruise line. Okay? Oh, sis, yes. Clutch all the pearls, clutch them, gather them. And I had people of the other persuasion tell me that I was so eloquent of speech and had good diction.
Woo!
Yeah.
Wait. I need you to stop. Wait. I just need to ponder. Stay right there for a minute, Erica, because you know that is a thing that chaps my black hide. Is when somebody says, "Wow,
listen, I am writing a book based upon my experiences on ships." But yes, I was told, and this was my first contract. I was greener than a blade of grass. I was told, "Oh, you're so eloquent of speech and you have good diction." Now, here is the thing that was really mind-boggling for me, is that I was told that I could not be African American, that I had to have been either from Nigeria or some other country because I was eloquent of speech, and that Black American women were not able to tap into this level of diction.
Lord have mercy, Jesus,
Yes,
you
I was
burning my
told
feet
this.
right now. Come on.
I was told this, and this is no disrespect or disregard to any of my sisters from any other, because Athena, I love me some Athena. I love all my cultural sisters, but it is unfortunate that the disparaging remarks that we get as African American women is that we don't speak well unless we're from some other dynamic, unless we are from some.
And that has solely to do what happens in the media, and we're going to talk about that too, because I want to talk about how pop culture, how media influences the way people see us and the way we see ourselves. We're going to talk about it, but girl, talk about it.
Yeah, so I did that for 3 years, and in the beginning it was hard, but I was a music major, so I studied voice. So there is my speaking voice, and then I got my speaking voice, and I'm talking to my mama. So so you have your singing voice, and then you got your sitting home when you're talking with your mama. But people don't understand that. And when being told like, "Oh, you act like you're white," my mother was told that. She's been told that 3 times in my life that I know of, that my mother acts as if she's white, or maybe, what's the word? Oh, raised by white folks. That is the
idea that talking proper has to be associated with white. We got to get that out of our vocabulary.
We have to get that out of our vocabulary.
We're denigrating ourselves when we say that we are incapable of speaking the King's English, the Kang's English. I think
the Kang's English.
Come on, Lord have mercy. Okay, April, let's talk about you having a code switch. Do you ever feel like that? Being in entertainment, or what's been your experience?
The way I see it is, I can switch it up because I'm clever. The level of my talents is so hard to measure. Anything they can do, I can do better.
Hey,
why I glow up and stay there forever.
Hey,
do it.
Yeah. This is where I think the issue is. The issue is that we look at it as code switching, right? No, I don't look at it that way. Even though that's what I call it, don't get it twisted. I look at it as the fact that we can communicate with everyone, but everyone cannot communicate with us. So that's how I look at it. Like, I can go into a room and I can talk to any and everybody, but everybody cannot come into my room. You see how that works? So that just makes us that much better. So you know, as far as I'm concerned, everybody can sit all the way down. But that's just me.
All right, I know y'all can't see me, but go ahead and talk about it, Miss Athena.
Listen, so, I often get like accused of being this bougie little girl, always, and I do love the fabulosity. But I think that within Black culture, even if you try to rise above socioeconomic status and you will have some level of class around that, you'll still enjoy things that are quote unquote demonized as ghetto. I'm like, why do we have to demonize, and why do we have to, demonize certain things as ghetto or ratchet? Some days I like to listen to a Hans Zimmer soundtrack, and some days I like to listen to Sexy Red. Like, I think there's room for all of it. And I think that it is more so of like, as Black people, I think we have range, right? I think we have range more so than I think in other ethnicities and cultures. Do I think that there is some kind of class elitism that happens sometimes? I very much think so. That is the case. I do notice that, because if you're a smart Black person, if you're intelligent, if you try to rise above class and all this other stuff, first of all, no matter how much you do that climb or that trek to try to advance, the dominant society will remind your ass that you're still Black. So we're all in the boat from that standpoint, right? And the other thing too is that I wish that it was not the case, so that we don't feel the need that we always have to perform and be, in suit and tie, upper crust, like, bougie level, because sometimes I feel like you disconnect from the community in that way. And also, as much as people aspire to wealth, right, you can still connect with your community, and we're all experiencing some of the same things. Okay, maybe one person's paying rent and one person's paying mortgage, but you're still paying, right? I mean, you're still paying for something, right? So right. I think that there can be that resentment, and from both sides, I think that people who maybe identify more as ratchet or ghetto be like, oh, these people think they're better than us or whatever, and vice versa. But I don't think it necessarily needs to be there. Also, a man told me this, right? He said, no matter what, there ain't nothing wrong with a little ratch every now and then. So
gotta take it off. Put that wig on and get a little ratchet, baby.
But one thing that I'm noticing, because it's always an issue, you were saying Sexy Red, and who was the other person that you were saying?
Hans Zimmer. I love Hans Zimmer.
And that's not a problem with that. My point is that I've noticed that people who might look like Hans Zimmer will be riding around and getting it, listening to the most ratchet of and what's the word that you used last week? The rachacity?
I have a couple. So there's ratchicity. There's also the ghetto rachi. So that's like ghetto liberal. That's ghetto fabulous.
Ghetto rachi. Okay, the word for the day is ghetto ratchety.
But what's mind-boggling to me is that when our counterparts are listening to this.
But that's kind of my point. That's the part that it makes my ass itch personally. It upsets me to the highest level, because you look down on me if I'm listening to Sexy Red, but it's okay for you to be whopping it all over the place. I do know that is not a Sexy Red song. I just wanted to put it out there. It just kind of went with what I was saying.
That's Kindred. That's Kindred, right?
Well, I was saying, there's some hope. Hey, but you get my point. How is it that you're able to
all of this stuff right? Yeah, she got all of this stuff.
But it just angers me to my core how it is. It's okay for you to ride past me in your Bentley or whatever the case is. But if I'm riding around in my Aston Martin, you're looking at me like, how dare you? How dare I? You're listening to the same thing that I'm listening to in a car that's on the same level that I'm driving, probably making way less money than I am. It angers me to my core.
And the biggest consumers of rap music are white people.
Right. But you know what? I'll actually put it out there. It's us. And so I'm sorry, anybody who's listening. I feel that it's our mindset, because we feel the need to we feel the need to be a victim. We feel the need to feel bad for ourselves, or say I have to change who I am for somebody else. I'm not saying that everybody does it, but there are a lot of people who want to change everything about them. if you're changing to, and not even changing, if you're quote unquote code switching just so you can maybe have a normal conversation, that's one thing. But if you feel that has to be you because you want to be better, like, why can't you be better and curse a little bit? Why can't you be better and listen to Sexy Red?
And I want to talk about the idea, because I heard you guys talking about it. When you have white people that do certain things, it's okay for them. So when they wearing red or pink or blue wigs, it's eclectic, it's artistic. But when we do it, it's ghetto. But before we go there, and I want you guys to think about that. And why is that? Why do we allow societal norms or unnorms to dictate how we live our lives or determine whether we're ghetto or not? But for those who are just joining us, it's the Fly Nubian Money on the Fly Nubian Queen. And I have these beautiful queens. Yes, I said queens here talking to us about class, about classism, about the elitist, about the non-elitist, about bougie versus ghetto, quote unquote, ratchet versus bougie, from the White House to the trap house, all of those things. We got Dr. Charm, we got April, we got Athena, and we got Erica. But make sure you're following us. Make sure you subscribe to the Fly Nubian Queen, and make sure that you text the words Queens, Queens, to 87948 so that you get notifications. And guess what, y'all? We on Spotify. So every day we are here, same time, same bat channel, but we're also on Spotify as well. So if you want to go ahead and listen to this on Spotify, on our podcast, please make sure you tune in and you subscribe and you get our alerts. But let's talk about that. Why is it okay for white women to go around and wearing pink and blue and green wigs, and they're not considered ghetto like we are? Who want to take that?
I want to take it because I remember in the 80s when Cyndi Lauper had 12 different colors in her head, and it was O to the K. It was okay. But here come Little Kim, here come Cardi B, here come Nicki Minaj, and everybody got their nose turned up. Everybody got something to say. But it's like, no, we made Cyndi Lauper a household phenomenon. We actually funded this woman's lifestyle because we listened to her music and mimicked her hair with Kool-Aid. Who did the Kool-Aid? I did the Kool-Aid. So if it wasn't for us as Black society embracing that 80s genre, would there be pink, red, and green and purple wigs for the girls to be wearing now? I don't think so. So I think it's really unfortunate that it's okay on the left, but not okay on the right. And honestly, we do judge each other. We do look at each other and go like, well, she got on a purple wig. This is not the kind of, why is she bringing inside, outside, and outside, inside? We have got to learn to just let each other be and be who we are in our space. Because you know what? The time that seems appropriate for you may not be the time that's appropriate for me. So I think, acknowledging and embracing each woman as each woman comes, I think that's where we need to get to that place. But, that's each woman's journey.
Ella Mack said being creative and being trashy are two very different things. What you think about that, Dr. Charm?
You said being creative and being trashy are two different things?
Mm-hmm. That's what Ella Mack said in the comments.
Well, Ella Max, I disagree, because you can be, there's some very trashy people out there, and they're very creative. The two can exist, because I don't. Creativity it's to me is from the divine. Okay, there's a spark of the divine in all creativity. Now, it could be creative for the good side of the force or creativity for the bad side of the force. One thing is, y'all won't catch me twerking a Sexy Red in public, but I will admit
I might do it in private.
Tunes. Okay, so because I actually did a comedy show in Louisville a couple weeks ago, and they played. I don't know why they put, because they didn't know me. They had a Sexy Red as I walked onto the stage, and I said, "Y'all not finna catch me twerking at this in public on stage. I got dignity." And nobody got the joke. But anyways, but I have been known to, to do a two-step to some Sexy Red at the house. So creativity and ratcheticity, it can coexist. I think we as Black people, we have, you know, with the civil rights movement and all the struggles that we have gone through, and we've always been looked down on, you know, the Hottentot Venus, Black women are looked at as sexually lascivious, this stereotype from the plantation. We were getting raped, but we were being called the sexually lascivious. And I think we've just internalized so much, and we feel a lot of social responsibility to really uplift ourselves on behalf of the race. And I think what happens when you have these bad actors out here, you know, we look at it like you represent all of us. And to an extent, I think that's a lot of responsibility to be carrying around and not being able to be individuals. But on the other hand, when you look at how the world perceives us, Black music and Black marketing of Black culture and television is one of the biggest exports that America has. And I remember Oprah got called the N-word when she was in South Africa, and the guy said, "Hey, what's up, my N?" And she was like, I guess somebody pulled him to the side. They're like, "You're not supposed to say that to people." And he's like, "But I saw it on TV." So, you know, you just, I don't know.
And yeah, we're going to get into how, again, media has really influenced our lives as Black people. But Athena, I see you over there twerking. What are your thoughts about us owning the word ghetto, though? Because, you know, I remember when they started talking about you might be ghetto if you're this, you might be ghetto, that, you know, they use it in playful terms. And then we started owning that word. And then I even seen Black people getting mad when white people say that they're ghetto. You ain't Black. Why does everything bad have to be synonymous with being Black? You know, we call ourselves the N-word. We call ourselves ghetto. And then we get mad when other people use those terms like we own those derogatory terms. Why is that?
I think we have a very complex relationship with those terms or things that were created to oppress us and negatively categorize us, right? And I think that we've, as a group, have taken mostly the stance of, okay, let's take ownership of these things. And it doesn't necessarily need to be anything that we need to own per se. But I don't judge anyone, because I've had friends and people and family in my life on both sides of the spectrum that don't use the word ghetto, N-word, or anything. And then I have people who are on the other side of the spectrum that be dropping ghetto, N-word every 2 seconds. So I think that within the confines of this conversation, as we're talking about bougie and ghetto and challenge the stereotypes of Black people and Black women, that we learn to look past these labels and categorizations and get down to the human level. Because I feel like even with the grand scheme of everything outside of this conversation, like politics and everything, I feel like we're losing our humanity because we are just so focused on being critical of others. And where that comes from, I feel that the need to feel better than someone, the need to feel better than someone to make yourself feel good or to elevate yourself. And that is not necessary. And the other thing I also want to expound on, maybe ask you guys, is that I've always felt like, why do we even need the need to separate or to feel better than someone is even there? And do you also, because what I've noticed is that whether you're bougie or not, it doesn't necessarily translate into being treated better all the time. Like there have been instances in life, I can even use dating as an example, that you would think a man would behave a certain way because I'm dressed as this sophisticated woman and he shows his old ass. So it doesn't, how you look, why there does have some implications, does not guarantee certain things. It doesn't guarantee anyone's going to respect you.
Yeah.
There's a lot of respectability politics between the bougie and the ghetto and the ratchet and the this and the that.
Yeah. And to your point, us thriving on this idea of the negative connotations, whether even if it's good, like bougie is supposed to be bourgeoisie, like you are upper class, but that's also a negative word for us. It's not considered to be a good word. And then you have things like when we call ourselves bitches and we call ourselves niggas, and everything that we call ourselves is bad. April, I want you to touch on that, and then Erica, I want you to touch on that. But why is that? Like, why have we allowed, society to make us feel like everything that we are?
So
because we're not a monolith.
I'm going to say something that maybe I shouldn't necessarily say, but number one, because we accept it, right? But number two, I feel that we've been called it so much that we look to put a positive spin on negative things. I being one of those people. So I created a term called ugly. Ugly stands for understand God loves you. At one time, I was called ugly so often that I'm just like, okay, well, I'm going to own it. But then I started looking at myself and actually appreciating the person that I have become. And I said, I'm going to change what it means.
Well,
right?
Did they call you ugly because you're bald headed? Why'd they call you ugly, April?
They called me ugly because I was ugly.
You asked not. I don't even see how that happened.
I've shown you pictures. You've seen pictures, Lord. And I promise you I ain't getting no work done. But no, a lot of people would compare me to another person that I know very well. And considering the fact that they would compare me, I was the ugly one. And so I said, I'm going to change what ugly means. And I did. And so I think that that's what a lot of Black people do. They'll say, you know what? I'm going to change. It's not with the ER, it's with an A. And so that way I can feel better about talking to my people and my people are showing love to each other. As long as you don't have anything negative behind the word bitch, it's like, hey, that's my bitch. That's my girl. That's my homie. It's okay. But if you say it and you have the wrong tone and your body language ain't body languaging, then what you said before, it's going to be some choir singing and some flowers bringing.
Some slow singing and some flowers bringing.
Slow singing and Lord Jesus, April. So that part.
All of it.
Erica, what do you think?
You know, I'm gonna be 51 on Sunday, and I'm 51.
Good girl, you better do it.
Gallon of water every day.
Birthday.
Thank you. Leo season.
Come on, let's go, Leo.
It took me, and I'm still trying to deal with it. So, bear with grandma. That word bitch. Because see, back in the 80s.
Right. That's fighting words, baby.
Guard your grill and knuckle up if the word bitch came into existence during any conversation. I don't care if we was playing the dozens. I don't care if we was jumping rope. That word bitch meant fist up. So I have not embraced a lot of terms of endearment that, we have started throwing around in our culture. And to flip on that, the first time that I heard the word nigga being used in my family was when I went to go visit my cousin. I had my mother didn't use that in the house. My father didn't use it in the house. But when I went to go see my father's family, they were like, "Oh, nigga, go get this." Oh, nigga, and I was like, "Oh, wait a minute, like, wait a minute." And I said, "Grandma, y'all cuss it." And she said, "That ain't no cuss word." So, it was,
it's a cuss word in my house.
And it depended upon.
I'm the only one that can curse.
So, there were a lot of, and there still are a lot of terms of endearment that we toss around that I have yet to embrace because of the time that I grew up in. And, the way, the younger generation embraces the word bitch and just uses it as a way. I remember when Missy Elliott did her song, "She's a bitch," and it was just like, oh, she said it. And she killed it and she owned it. And, big shout out to Missy because it is definitely working for her now. Y'all see that tour? But, just to, those terms of endearment, we have been as women, especially women, ostracized for thinking for ourselves, for standing up for ourselves, for, taking back our power, for being called ugly. I know that growing up, I was called fat, black, and ugly. I had the 3-hit quitters. So I totally understand. Fat, black, and ugly. So I totally understand what that's like to have those negative terms, thrown at you, spewed at you, and you have to take that and turn it around, or I'd probably be sitting somewhere in the corner hugging myself and rocking in a straitjacket. But a lot of terms of endearment that we have thrown out here, they're not endearing. They're actually damaging. The scripture says power of life and death is in the tongue. So we are unknowingly killing ourselves a little bit every day by some of the endearing things that we say to each other and to self.
Come on, let's talk about life. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to add to that because you said something about they called you fat, black, and ugly, right? And it's funny because now we call each other black, and that's actually, that was so negative. If somebody called someone black in the 60s and 70s, those were fighting words. Who you calling black? And now it's like, you know, I actually have a song that talks about the black man and how beautiful the black man is. You know what I mean? And it's the funny part is lately I'm like, I don't want to be, I don't, you know, it's nothing bad about being black. It's just the fact that if you actually go and read it in the dictionary, like the meaning behind it, like, wait, our color's not black. This is not. So it's like, no, I'm beyond that. I'm a queen. You know what I mean? So if you won't see my color, you're going to call me a queen as opposed to a color or whatever. You're not going to label me in anything.
And it's disturbing because we are the only race of women that get hit with descriptions of complexions. You got, you know, ooh, look at red bone. Ooh, right. look at this one.
No, look at that queen. I'm looking at you and I'm like, your color is ridiculously amazing. I'm queen. That's just me. What do I know?
Yeah. No, I mean, but I think a lot of it boils down to, you know, what society has placed on us. Let's look at the media. Let's look at what Hollywood has deemed to be important in our communities. You know, let's look at the slide about Hollywood. There we go. Bougie or Ghetto, challenging the stereotypes of. So you have, if you can move that that banner from the bottom, you have the 3 different types of women that Hollywood has. You have the mammy, right? You have the help, you have the Jezebel, and you have the Sapphire, which is the bougie auntie. Those are the 3 types of black women that we often see that are portrayed in Hollywood. So you have the mammy, you have the Jezebel, and the Sapphire. So submissive, sexy, sassy, the 3 reductive depictions of black women that we continue to see on our screens every single day in Hollywood when we look at the portrayal of black women. The mammy, the Jezebel, and the Sapphire are 3 stereotypical black women that have been around in Western culture for centuries. These simplistic depictions are rooted in the slave and trade and live on today. And that's so true. And so when we have other people that are looking at us, they're looking at entertainment to judge us. And we're judged based upon what they see on the screen. So while some, I was getting ready to go back to that last one, while some, the next one. While some films aim to challenge these divisions, many still rely on these tropes, which can limit the representation of women's diverse realities of Hollywood. Now I want to talk to you guys about that because we are so much more complex than what they portray. And when you see things, and if I want to see myself, if we see ourselves on the big screen, when we see ourselves on the big screen, when we see reality shows, what do we see about black women? The only thing that we ever see is what? Arguing, we see fighting, we see the tea, we see reading, we don't see intellect, we don't see people talking with some sense, we don't see happy. Imagine what the reception would be if there were shows out there that showed positive black women. Remember when the Cosby Show was on, the reception that got. People want to see. We are hungry for that. And I posted a reel yesterday about what Tank said when he was on one of those podcasts. But one of the things he said is, we don't own the conglomerates, we don't own the music, we don't own, and they only will promote what's negative about us. They're not going to promote love. The people with the $100 million contracts, those are the ones that bitches and hoes and niggas and killing and bullets. And it was on Noriega's show. And Nori said, you know, the happiest time, he was like, it was so stressful being a rapper because every time I did a concert, I had to worry about, I was stressed out because somebody got stabbed at the end of the show. Right. But when I did reggaeton, he said that was the funnest time of my life because people were having such a great time. Tank said, when I do love music, it's a good thing because at the end we can, right? That's the end result. But what's put out there where the money goes behind the $100 million contracts is behind the negativity. Why? Because they want to see us at our worst. They want to see us fighting. But the fact that we take that on and we eat it, it's all a game that's being played at this level, but we are taking it on and we're eating it all. And Charm, what were you going to say, Dr. Charm?
We're missing one of the stereotypes because Donald Bogle, he was the one that codified these stereotypes: the black buck, the Jezebel, the sweet sister Sapphire, the mammy. We're missing the tragic mulatto, and so the tragic mulatto is, I'm caught between two worlds. If only I could be in one world, otherwise it's a tragedy for me. Halle Berry and Monsters Ball, and there was a picture of Halle Berry in one of the on the second screen. Also, what was her? Journey Smollett in Temptation, where that the Tyler Perry one, that a lot of people were really upset about that one, but she was a bit of a tragic mulatto type character, though in that movie I don't think her parents were white, but we know in real life her father is Russian. So I just say, as far as Hollywood and film, Tank is right, we don't own any of it. We're fighting things every day. That's why I thought the movie American Fiction was brilliant. Y'all have to excuse my nose. I got my allergies are acting insane. So excuse me for rubbing my nose. But American Fiction with Jeffrey Wright, that if y'all haven't, everybody in the chat, in the viewing, everybody, if y'all have not seen that movie, it was brilliant because it was a satire that played on the stereotypes of Black people and how it's pretty much one note. Everybody's arguing, fussing, fighting, shooting, killing. And it took it to the point where this man created just a completely fictional author to write this book for how, and it ended up getting all this Hollywood attention. And he just did the stereotypes of Black people as a joke. When he was a serious literary writer. But what I loved about this movie is it shows so many different kind of Black people. Like his brother was a doctor. The parents were in healthcare. The sister was a doctor. But even just them being in the class level, but even beyond that, the type of relationships they had in the story, you could have put it could have been. I love the Black movies that. I love frank Blackness and I love talking about Black issues, but I love the movies where you could close your eyes and it could be any race playing these characters because it's just about the story. About, is it a love story? Is it a story about corporate intrigue? Is it a paper?
So
I love stories.
Like Dr. Charm, a Tyler Perry formula movie narrative fan. You don't like that that recipe he cranks out.
It works.
They're all very Black women. Everybody's angry. No, can I make 2 points real quick?
Yes.
Number one, if anybody watches The Housewives, any Housewives, if you notice on Housewives of Atlanta, at one time they had Kenya, they had Phaedra, they had Candy. Now, with Kenya is a college graduate, very highly educated, knows how to read people down to the gods, knows every word in the dictionary. And then you have a Phaedra, who I want to say she has 2 degrees, is constantly going back to school to get more and more education. Now, if you look at the Real Housewives of Orange County or the Real Housewives of New York or the Real Housewives of New Jersey, there is no education there. Yet they are treated with the highest level of respect.
Come on.
And so it is because of, and they are the ones who are throwing chairs. They are the ones who are throwing wine. They are the ones who are fighting, sleeping with each other's hoo-has and whatnot. And yet, when it comes to Real Housewives of Atlanta, the Black franchise, they're like, we want more negativity and we want more fighting and we want more wine throwing and everything else. And that's the only way you can stay on the show is if you are putting each other down. No talk about your degrees or the level of education that you have. So that part. The second point that I want to make is when we're watching things on the telly or in the movie theaters, what is his name? Denzel. Good Lord. I'm like, it starts with a D. Washington actually talked about how they need more Black. Huh? What were you saying?
Go ahead. Keep going.
How we need more Black directors.
Oh, I thought when you said D, I thought you were talking about
Donald. Oh, no.
Keep it later, baby.
When we look at like Goodfellas, for example, Martin Scorsese was able to really show how everybody's life was, because he was able to talk about his life. That's how he grew up. Martin Scorsese, Steven Spielberg, Schindler's List. Those are the two movies that he brought up, and it makes a valid point. When you live that life, you're able to direct how that is supposed to be viewed, right? And so everybody's not going to fall in those three categories in real life. So the reason that we have all those three categories on a regular basis is because we have somebody else telling us what our life looks like.
And
yep.
No, but that goes. I want you to put up that statistic that said about the Hollywood writers. What percentage of Hollywood writers are actually Black? But go ahead and keep talking, Nate.
Well, no, I was just going to bring up the fact that if you look at Black television from back in the day, one of the things that Moya Boyette, the people who did Good Times, Miller Boyette, anyway, they started doing a lot of movies, a lot of TV shows. And one thing that they did do, even though it was not, they weren't Black, is they took what the actual people, what the actual actors were saying. They listened to them and they said, okay, tell us what would you normally say? So even the dynamite thing, even though nobody liked it, that actually came from JJ, which I can't think of what anybody's name is right now.
Jimmy Walker. But your point though is that they remember Esther Roll said she would not take that role if they did not have a husband, if she didn't have a husband, right? And they did everything that they could to get James off, and finally they got him killed because they did not want a Black father in the house, which is kind of reflective of what happened in society when they said that there could be no Black men in the home, and the breakdown of the Black family. Also, I think to your point, when you talk about movies, look at what Denzel got his Oscar for. He didn't get it for Malcolm X, which he was dynamic. He didn't get it for none of the other great, profound movies. What did he get it for? Training Day. Yeah. What did Halle Berry get her Oscar for? Monsters Ball. What did Will Smith ended up getting his for what?
Brokeback Mountain. That was his first one.
Will Smith did Brokeback Mountain?
No, he wasn't in Brokeback Mountain.
Wait, there was one movie
he
that
got it for playing Richard Williams. He got it for playing a great role, and it was
King
a great
King Richard
Black male role.
King Richard.
Yeah,
Wait,
King Richard.
Wasn't he like sleeping?
No, that was the other one. That was the other one when he was a young boy and he was a manipulator and he was a narcissist. But
6 degrees of separation.
6 degrees, yes.
That's what I said.
But to your point though, that's what they're portraying that of us. And if I can go back to that slide where it talks about what the percentage of the writers are actually Black, and then it makes you wonder, Gwen, if we could put that slide up. As of 2022, approximately 13% of Hollywood writers were Black, according to the Writers Guild of America. When it comes to Black women specifically, they represented about 4% of the writers. So this is why we have the mammies. This is why we have the hoes, the bitches, the crackheads. This is why you see Black women represented in the way that they are, and not as the intellects. You won't see the Claire Huxtables. You're going to see the mammies. You're going to see the Foxy Browns. You're going to see the Shanae's. You're going to see the Aunt Esther's. You're going to see the Baps. You're going to see the angry Black woman. So it's very frustrating because we are not represented in the writer's room. And then when you talk about 13%, that being also 13% of the population, but is it 13% of the writers? So on a Black show, so only you have a Black show and only 13% of the writers of that show are Black. That's a real problem. That means you got 77% of the writers writing about Black experiences that are not Black. And that's a problem. And that's who's representing us. And that's why they're buying this narrative here in the US and across the world. But if you're listening right now, you are listening to the Fly Nubian Money on Fly Nubian Queen. And what I need you to do is make sure that you subscribe to the Fly Nubian Queen on Instagram, on Facebook, and on YouTube. Make sure you follow us. And also make sure you text the word Queens to 87948. Now let's get back into it, y'all. So what do you think about you being able to
just real quick, Constance, just real quick, they asked they were asking in the chat, and I was asked to say what was the name of the film, and the film is American Fiction. And it's got nominated for a bunch of Golden Globes, and I think maybe even an Oscar, but I think it won an Oscar. It was American Fiction.
That was a good movie.
Thank you, baby.
Right.
I appreciate that, RJ. I think RJ McKenzie wanted to know, and so, but let's go back to the bougie versus the ratchet versus the bougetto versus what was the word of today, Athena?
Oh, the word of today is ghetto rachi.
Ghetto rachi.
Put together.
Ghetto rachi, baby. Ghetto rachi. So let me ask you, Erica, would you consider yourself along the lines of the bougie or the ratchet? And I want to ask all of you guys. So I want you guys to think about that.
You know, I think it determines on where I am and what the moment requires.
Okay.
Because there have been times where I have been in a bougie environment that required my ratchet to come out.
Okay.
Some people get out of order, and
So
sometimes you have to put it in
I
order.
need to know where you leaning. I need to know where you more leaning,
So,
like on a daily basis.
So when the 99 and the 2000s come on, what are you doing?
Are you? But the what are you doing?
Look, I'm still stuck in the 90s. Me and Dove, I was down with Jay-Z all 10 of them summers. I was listening to Biggie. I was listening to Nas, and I still do. Nothing has changed.
So you leaning on the ratchet side, on the left side a little bit. You leaning on the ratchet side a little bit.
I'm kind of like straddle the fence.
I need you to pick one, baby. We ain't straddling. I need you to pick one. Tell me.
You know what? I like my ratchet because we was ratchet for so long.
Okay. And listen, we're gonna turn that into a positive. So listen, it's all of it's positive. Whether you're bougie or ratchet, it's all in positivity. All right, Athena, where you leaning?
Listen, I always, at this point, I'm probably bougie with a sprinkle of ratch. You know, I like a little ratch on the side. You know, you're going to have your little bougie entree, but your side going to be a little ratch every now and then.
Athena, you sound like a salad. Girl, you sound like a salad.
A little side of ratch. What about you, Dr. Charm? What about you, Dr. Charm? Are you leaning more towards the bougie or the ratchet?
Child, I'm Bougetto. I have
you got to pick one, baby. You got to pick one.
It's Bougetto. That's because I have to be honest and I have to be true.
You can't be 50-50 though. So on a regular day, when nobody is around,
I'm on a regular day. I'm Bougetto, and so it depends on the situation. Because like I said, you can see me twerking. I try not to twerk in public, but I did twerk in public last Saturday in Step Aerobics class, and it got caught on video, and it will be caught on video again. But then again, you know, I'm silver elite on several of these, frequent flyers / frequent Marriott stayers. So, you know, it just, that's all I can say.
Okay. April, what about you?
I would call myself Ghetto.
What is that? Is that another word for Ghetto? I need to know where you're leaning most days.
So I'll be as honest as possible. Now I am as bougie as they come. I'm beyond bougie. You can't get more bougie than me. However.com. You put me in a ghetto situation, honey, and I will show you what ghetto looks like.
Oh yes. So I'll say for myself, I lean to the ratchet a little bit, you know, but I do fly first class and I do like the finer things in life, but I am very I'm rough around the edges, and I'm not even gonna lie.
So I was watching you on Dr. Boyce the other day, and you used to be a rapper.
Don't even start that shit. Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Oh, drop it, CC.
Don't do that. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Okay, Big Lotto.
I'm just saying, like, based, you know, because we all relate to, of course, different types of people, whether they're bougie or ghetto, and I don't like being around the ratchet and the ghetto, but I would say for me, I'm a little rough around the edges, and I'm not even gonna front. I'm not gonna act like, you know, but I could be what I need to be when I need to be it. I could certainly go to a White House gala and not be intimidated at all. But for not in the Trump house, but for my comfortability, I like to kind of stay in the, you know, like stay with some real people. That's all. But let's go back to that.
Hood adjacent.
Come on, that's what I'm talking about. Ooh, I love it. I love it.
We're just coming up with all kind of words today.
I love it. But we as Black women, I think it doesn't matter, sort of what walk of life that we're in. We all need to figure out how we can support each other, because we got to be able to navigate in these places and spaces. And we're not a monolith, and we're multidimensional. We're very complex creatures. And so the way we're portrayed is very different than who we are. And so how can you, because I know there's a couple of us ghetto, couple of us, not ghetto, couple of us a little ratchet, couple of us bougie. How are we able to navigate with those people who are not in our quote unquote class system? How do we make sure that we can navigate in those spaces and make sure that we can bring people along with us that need our help? What do you think, Erica?
I found that it seems to me that the younger generation just doesn't have that balance that we have as Gen Z, Gen X. They don't quite have that balance of knowing when to turn up, when to turn down, or when to just balance out. And I think that's why now there's such a huge gap between bougie and ratchet, is because they just don't know when to say when. They don't know when to tone it down. They don't know when
to not wear the bonnets to the airport.
Sis, Jesus, take me to church. I got a bonnet thing. I'm so jaded by bonnets, I won't even sleep in one. I won't even wear it in the privacy of my own home.
I have a question for the panel. So are bonnettas, which are girls that wear the bonnets outside, are bonnettas considered ratchet?
Yes.
I wear a bonnet all the time, okay? Because I want to make sure that my hair is always protected, okay? So I don't care where I am. I'm wearing a bonnet right now.
Yes.
Well, they talked about Monique so bad because she did the public service announcement to the girls wearing the bonnets in the airport. But, and I could kind of agree with Monique somewhat. But Monique, my bonnet is made of 3,000 count Egyptian silk thread, and a little Asian man that sold it to me assured me that it would preserve my edges to the year 2035.
And so are my sheets, and they stay, and they are in the bed where they belong. I'm not going to take them sheets outside the goddamn bed.
They know about being a bonetta. Constance not messing with bonettas at all.
I just think that the age of us just being decent in public has gone out the window. There's no decency. We will wear anything. We'll wear pajamas. We'll wear, house shoes, and that. And you don't gotta be rich to put on no clothes to go to the store.
Let's just be honest. Back in the 80s, my mother was, you don't leave your house with rollers in your hair.
That's what my grandmother taught me. My grandmother was like, do not walk out the house without your rouge. You didn't have to put on a full beat, but she's like, you never know who's going to see you. You know what I mean? And that could be business wise. You all are public figures. You know what I'm saying? So if you walk out your house and somebody wants to take a picture, you look a hot mess with your bonnet and your hair and whatnot. And people are like, well, I don't care. You should care.
You should.
What happened to the soft woman? And I think that's the part that's missing. Sometimes we need to have a little bit of softness, a little bit of elegance, a little bit of class. Nobody's saying that you have to have it all the time, but honey, just have it a little bit. I
know the men are not feeling the bonnets, wearing the bonnets outside. If you're a single girl,
listen, the bonnets doesn't determine your socioeconomic status. You can be poor and dress. I like what Pressure Poland said. Once Monique said that PSA, I humbly obeyed, and it made a difference. More people come up to me and speak to me. If I'm going to her outside, why have a bonnet on outside? And listen. So like I said, I fly first class most of the time, right? And I'm typically, when I travel, I don't look the best. I'm in a hoodie, I'm in sweats, and people often ask me what I'm doing in first class in so many ways, right? So I don't dress up, but I notice that when I'm there and I have a suit on, the respect that I get is way different. Now, should it be? I don't know. The people who are helping me very differently. They're not questioning why I'm in the elite status as opposed to, being in group 5 when I'm in a suit. So the more you carry yourself, it's how I don't care. It's how people portray you. It's how you're looked at. It's also how you're received and how you're respected. I do understand that we are Black first. And so that uniform that we have on, we already have that negativity going towards us from society, not from ourselves. But there are things that we can do. We don't have to be rich to put some damn pants on. We really don't. What
and
you think
even if
about
you
that?
are rich, you'll still face issues. I mean, didn't Oprah get pulled up at a store and they were asking her why she's there?
Yeah, they told her they
You
didn't
know,
have it. They were
Paul
closed.
Paul Mooney has a famous joke though. He said that they just didn't recognize Oprah without her makeup at the Hermes shop.
Well, she does look like a totally different person. That we do know. That we do know. But what steps can we take to ensure that we support each other regardless of our difference? Because at the end of the day, it's all about unification. We could talk about the battle of the classes all we want to, but at the end of the day, we are all Black women. We are all striving to go in the same direction. We want the same things. Everybody wants to live in peace. They want financial freedom. They want to be able to take care of their kids and their families. They want to live a life that's drama free. I think most people want the same things in life. What steps can we take, Dr. Charm, to ensure that we can work together, across socioeconomic statuses to make sure that everybody feels inclusive?
Well, I have to say this, and someone said, made a comment, I cannot remember where I saw this, but they were like, Black women are all Black women, and we have to learn to accept all Black women, no matter how we come. And that means from the most ratchet to the most ghetto to the most high society, the most high class, the 500 millionaire. We have to respect and accept all Black women. And as Dr. Laila Africa said in Hidden Colors 5, which I was actually in Hidden Colors 5 with him, he said we need all Black people to fight this fight. We need all the Negroes, even the ones that are certified with papers. Woo! And I'll sign off.
April, what do you think?
I think there was a gentleman, Robert F. Smith, who paid for everybody's schooling at Morehouse, right?
Yeah.
And so he decided, because I have money coming out of my ass, I want to make sure that all of the children can start fresh, just like the other side, right? They're starting fresh. They don't have any bills. They don't have anything. That means that what he did was he gave back. And I think that that's something that we fail to do so often. We don't give back to the younger generation. And I think that giving opportunities, mentorship, and just being an all-around good person, I think that right there, just showing that you can be a good person and still be yourself. I think that that's something that needs to change. But mentorship, giving back, reaching to the next generation and saying, I am here, ask me, or I am here, you need help. And not making people feel bad about the fact that they're ratchet. Say, listen, you're ratchet, but let's be better. So let me show you some ways that you can still be ratchet, but be better at the same time.
Amen. Amen. Thank God. Athena, what are your thoughts?
Well, I do think that regardless of everything that we have discussed, that focus more so on the character of people than the appearance of people. And that has been a lesson that I've learned and fully embraced, because there have been moments in life that remind me that we need to treat each other on a human level first. There were people who looked a certain part or were even, well-to-do and upper crust that didn't necessarily have the best character or were even willing to help me. And then there were people who were average or didn't look like they would do anything that fully embraced me and uplifted me. And I try to remember that when I'm engaging with people, and I try to meet people on a human level. Oftentimes I will meet people and they already have these ideas about who I am as a person. But then as we conversate and have these conversations, I see them relaxing and I feel them opening up to me. So the last thing I would say to our audience is to embrace that, yes, we do judge people and books by their covers, and that is a biological response and often a needed requirement, but also leave our minds open to people surprising us in a positive way.
I agree. What about you, Erica? What do you think?
I'm an avid reader. I'm a writer, so of course I'm a reader. And I want to share something with all of you that I have been I grappled with it for a long time because I had never seen it before, even though I read this book. It's a statement by Zora Neale Hurston in Their Eyes Were Watching God. It says, Black women are the mules of the earth. Black women are Black women are the mules of the earth. And she said, I began to grapple with imagery that statement elicited, whether one, I should interpret it as a praise for our strength, or two, a derogating description that is symbolic of victimization and bondage. And a lot of times we take words and descriptions and use them as our mule to work us in society, to work us against each other, to work us away from our destiny. You have to have a keen sense of awareness, being self-aware, having knowledge of self. And once that is obtained, and once you are able to be comfortable within yourself, because there's so many of our young women that are not comfortable with themselves. Once you get to that place, then once descriptions are starting to be thrown around, you know what? You don't have to fall into any category. You can honestly stand within your truth and be you. But you first have to do that work and have a keen knowledge of understanding as to who you are. And hey, we can sit here and kiki and slap it up and like, hey, yes. But you know what? Because I know who Erica is.
Right.
I know who Erica is. I know who Erica is going to be. So once you have aligned yourself with who you are and that knowledge of self, then all of these other things just falls by the wayside.
Oh, that's good. You know, I often think that, well, no, my experience in, you know, when I'm in places and spaces is people often think that I'm going to be some type of way. They think I'm gonna be stuck up and they're like, oh my God, I can't believe you're not stuck up. And I'm like, why? I'm just some chick from San Jose. Like I ain't nobody. I'm not anybody to be stuck up. I don't understand why you think I would be, but I understand, but I'm so not there. I love to sit down, laugh with people, have a good time, converse or whatever. And I think people have stereotypes about certain types of black women. And I think, you know, because sometimes we can be standoffish or sometimes we can be a certain type of way, but I think we should really practice and be intentional about being open, because we need each other. You know, these young girls need to see what it's like that, hey, look, even though she got it going on, even though she make a little money, she just like me. And that's, I don't ever want to move from that place because I know where I came from. I know, you know, I know the struggles that I've had. I know the losses that I've had, and I know the gains. And so it's very important for people to understand, like, I wasn't born with no silver spoon in my mouth. I'm just like you, girlfriend. I just happen to make some good choices and good decisions. And I think we need to, us who have gotten to that other side of maybe a certain level of socioeconomic status, need to reach back and show people that I'm the same. I have not changed. I'm going to say this last thing and then we can wrap up. But somebody said something like, I don't date ratchet women because it's not a good look. And I think it's very important to understand that, you know, how you show up in these relationships, because when we talk about wealth and we talk about money, and this is about money, this is about wealth, this is about forwarding our community, it is about family. Because that's important. It is about learning how to be a good wife. It is about learning how to be a good mother. And so we have to learn, you know, maybe being that level of ratchet or ratcheticity is not a good thing for our communities in general, because then we're not being forward thinking. We're not being good women to our men. We're not being good wives. We're not being good mothers. What do you think about that in terms of dating? Maybe, you know, maybe some men like for women to hit them upside the head. I don't know. But, you know, what are y'all thoughts about that?
Don't hit men upside the head. That is my thought.
That's it? Okay. What do you think, Dr. Charles? Just say no to hitting men upside the head.
Rephrase the question again.
I'm just saying, you know, in terms of dating, and we're talking about moving our culture forward, and somebody said in the comments that I don't date ratchet women because it's not a good look or whatever. But I think it also, you know, training our women about, when I talk about being ratchet, I'm just talking about being a little rough around the edges, and, you know, I can get grimy a little bit, but in terms of being, you know, a good woman, a good mother, a good wife, you know, not being ghetto and, you know, being, you know, having some respect about yourself.
Men love toxic women. I have seen men with ratchet women. They love a toxic, crazy woman. Some of them say the sex is better. Some say the sex.
past the virtual
Hit
collection.
him upside the head.
No.
Yeah,
I will say this.
so-
I have to say this. As a person who dated, go ahead.
No, go
Yeah,
ahead.
let me
Let
just
Dr.
finish
Charm
real quick.
finish.
Yeah, and so that whole thing, because I was raised right. I was raised, going to church every Sunday on the Sunday school bus. I went to vacation Bible school with the hot dogs and the hot dog water and good chips and stuff. And raised where I went to my granny, and I was getting ready to go to school, and that skirt was 2 inches above the knee, and she sent me right back to go change clothes. I was raised that way, and I done seen these toxic, ratchet girls with the good pee. Suki with the good coochie. So all this, they're getting attention from it. I know it's corporate driven in the rap world, but still there's an element that there's men that likes these type of women. I mean, look at Dr. Umar just took a picture with Suki. They done dressed up and got her all cute and got her in her little Sunday school Easter maxi dress, and she taking pictures with Dr. Umar. This is a man with a doctorate. So
But
you tell me that they don't like these toxic ratchet women when they like good coochie. Look, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna be shaming people on being ratchet or not, because I got a little bit of both. But I'm not gonna lie. They like them ratchet ones.
Wait, I have to say this though. But where I would agree, I also disagree, because I've had my fair share of guys who only have a mattress in the corner, and so the guy who has the mattress in the corner, is that guy is the exact same as the ratchet woman who has the good. Okay, I'm just putting that out there. I just want to make that clear. And so, with that being said, they only like they don't like the fact that they're in a bedroom. You don't like the fact that you're in a bedroom that with a mattress that doesn't even have a box spring. I'm putting it out there. But you enjoy the 2 hours of time that is spent, and you are ready to go home to your home that does not have all of the roaches and rats that are going that are flying by. That being said, no, he is not going to wife her. That is not what always happens. If you notice, the people who are, I think, more extreme are the ones who are typically not going to settle down with that person, and the person who is that right mix of the bougie and the ghetto typically ends up getting wifed.
So do you think, what do you think, Erica? Do you think the men are wifing the girl to Suki with the good coochie?
I think a big thing that is happening here, and I've heard several brothers that are talking about this, is that I don't know these women, the Sexy Reds and the Sukianas, that, this generation of women, they have poor hygiene. I don't care. I don't care how bougie.
You saw that Sexy Red sex tape. I didn't see it, but I heard about that green stuff.
Well, the twerk win, not fresh. Twerk win, not.
Where is baby Jesus?
There was a charge.
So what I'm
not talking about a fire.
I can't even catch my breath.
Dr. Charm, I'm sure you've seen a couple of patients.
Wait, Erica, go ahead, Erica.
You have to have the elements of womanhood and being a lady. And that is what is missing. Understand what it is to be a woman. I can be as ratchet as I want to be all day, but I know how to plop my ass in the bathtub. I use Ivory soap because it is faithful.
You know what? And I'll also add, ladies, so since we're talking about good hygiene, I'll also add, you can also eat properly. What you eat, okay, you are what you eat, and sometimes things taste better when you are eating properly. Pineapples.
If you have a poor diet, you are, when they say you are what you eat. So when you're eating poor, so is your mate. I'm gonna leave it at that.
I just love where the conversation has been going today. Honestly, I didn't know that we were going to pull up this destination, but I'm glad that we are here.
Constance, you have pulled me out of my comfort zone.
Listen, that's what I'm here to do, baby.
So when a patient comes and she's not smelling fresh, what you say? What
Erica, that's what I'm here to do. What you say, Dr. Charm?
I got a joke about it that I'm doing for the first time on Friday, and that's one of the reasons I quit practicing medicine, because I hate to do pap smears. It ain't nothing like the whole office smelling like catch of the day first thing in the morning. And you got to keep a straight face on top of it.
Oh, see, and that's why. Listen,
that's the reason why I go straight fresh in the morning, because I want to make sure I'm fresh. That's why I go first thing in the morning. You're not gonna get me after I had a hard day at work.
Y'all heard Downey and April Fresh? Listen, okay, and I stand with that. You got to be April Fresh, damn it. Oh, that's bad. That's and it stinks up the whole. That needs to be a discussion.
Summer's Eve. Listen, we need to have a discussion.
I feel like some of the men like it stank though.
You know what? Wait a minute. Wait. This is what I need to say. I didn't say this because I saw in a group, they were saying a woman who gets in the shower before they consume her is like washing off the seasoning. How do you? They love taking a shower.
That sweaty gin.
A bunch of men concurred.
I need to fix my face, and I need to talk to all of these men.
Honey, so
they must be all the king's horses and all the king's men.
Y'all can go ahead on, because when I have to call the health department and you get your call from the CDC, then y'all gonna be calling me, and I'm not here. I'm clocked out.
And this is why we need to be properly vetting these men before you even give them your phone number, because good hygiene spans out so much. That's a whole.
Erica
said, whole pH balance.
Some of y'all dick and some of these men, y'all dick and balls ain't smelling good either. It's musty. They're not smelling right. You need to go down there and clean them. They got that deodorant now that you can put down there, that Loom. I'm actually allergic to Loom, so I'm not trying to get them no free publicity, but I'm just saying there are resources out there for you. Clean your balls, brother.
And on that note, wait. We got to stop right here, y'all. We got to stop right. We're going to end on that note right there. Clean your balls, brothers. Okay. So we're going to end on clean your balls, brothers.
The undercarriage needs help.
Not the undercarriage. You know what, Athena? You know what? You right here. I got problems with you. We're going to fight after this. We got problems.
This episode has been brought to you by...
Yeah, Athena started this. Athena started it.
This has been brought to you by Lumi. If you need your balls to be clean, please wash them with Lumi. Thank you. We'll see you next time.
Erica, give us your final words and where they can find you, please, because these women are out of control today. Jesus. Don't.
I don't even know what to say. Thank you for watching. Thank you for laughing with us. But listen, take care of yourselves. Ladies, again, we are multidimensional. We are every woman, as Shaka Khan once said. And it is very important, whether you're bougie, whether you're ratchet, be a lady. Be a lady and be a woman to you first. I can be found as Miss Erica Renee on all social medias or at faithintransition.com.
You know, somebody said, I be thinking women say wild things, and then that men say, and I'd be like, uh-oh. But here's the thing. Y'all have no idea, because when the cameras go off, when the live go out, it gets real serious up in here. But anyway, Athena.
All right. So I know a lot was said in this episode. And I didn't know we were going to take it there, but final thoughts are this. Bougie or Ghetto, it doesn't matter. We're all Black people. We're all, having clearly similar experiences out here. Make sure that you keep it fresh, right, and tight, and make sure that the undercarriage is getting the much needed water and soap that it deserves, gentlemen. For our ladies, if you want to live your best goddess life, that means no bonettas out here. That means that you are smelling fresh. That means that your bank account is increasing and the stress is decreasing. You can find me at wewealthwomen.com, on social media at wewealthwomen, and listen to my podcast, the We Wealth Women podcast, on Apple, iHeart, and Spotify. And that is all for today.
Armando, I don't like you. He said you ladies went balls in today. Armando, go to hell.
And did.
And did. And RJ said also get some Afro sheen. And I have a public service announcement. Ladies, shave your coochie. Dr. Charm, what do you say?
I have to say that I've said all I have got to say. I've been Bougie, I've been ratchet, I've been uppity, I've been all those things. I am all those things. She's all in me, all of her. I'm from Third Ward, Texas, aka also Independence High Studio down Houston, Texas, up in this biatch. And y'all can find me on IG at CharmGirl77. You can text me because I am a psychic reader. I don't know if it came through today, but you can text me at 404-832-5179. We get to the bottom of the situation. I can talk to some of your dead people that have passed over you want to connect with. Also, I got a comedy show this Friday, August 2nd. I'll be posting it on my Instagram at Atlanta Comedy Theater, Norcross. Y'all can catch me. And for everybody who wants to talk about this, okay.
Look, I got
a bitch. Yes, honey. Yes. Thank you.
Burn it up. I love Dr. Charm, honey. Listen,
April.
You got that 3,000 head count, bun it.
This is 23. Okay, we got about 25 inches waist length, full length locks. Been locking since I was 17 years old. But you know what? I can still throw a wig up on them. And I'm finna give me a 24-inch bust down getting delivered today.
April.
April like baby, like a little baby girl.
Want to make sure if y'all gonna wear y'all bonnet, I'm showing mine. Damn it. Hello. First of all, thank you so much for joining us today. We've been very happy to have all of you. My final words are: be bougie, be ghetto, be you. Okay. But when you learn who you really are and love who you really are, please make sure that you teach one. Teach the next one, because we were talking about poor hygiene, and trust me, it's running rampant in these streets. So please, each one, teach one. You can find me everywhere at April Sampe. That's right, APRILSAMPE. You can also find me at Realtor April Foster. That's right, Realtor April Foster. If you need a home, I've got one for you. Look at God.
It's crazy. Y'all, this was off the chain
Who
today.
are you?
And I much, huh?
Who are you?
I'm about to say it. Is that okay?
Sorry.
Oh, okay. And I want to just say that I really enjoyed. See, this is proof that Black women are not a monolith. We come in all different sizes, shapes, statuses, socioeconomic statuses. And here's the thing about that: it doesn't matter where you come from. If you bougie or if you ghetto. The at the end of the day, we all share similar experiences. We are Black and we are women, and we can work together. We can get along. We can have discussions. We can talk intellectual about elections. We can talk about cleaning your coochie cat. We can talk about making sure the balls smell good. We can talk about all those various things because we are not a monolith. And I love engaging with these intelligent ladies because we can sit down and have all those conversations. But where can you find me? You can find me on all things I Am Constance Carter on Facebook, Instagram, and on YouTube. And listen, I have partnered with the Black Business School. Tomorrow I don't know if you know, I built the largest Black-owned real estate firm in California. I'm a real estate investor and all of these other amazing things that God has blessed me with. But me and Dr. Boyce, we are putting together a real estate training, a free one tomorrow night, 8:30 Eastern, 5:30 Pacific, where we're going to be sharing how to get some real estate investment strategies in the next 90 days. How can you own some property and start investing and building your wealth portfolio? Get with me. Go to the blackbusinessschool.com and register. And also for Black women, again, we're all different from all over the place. I love Black women. I have a collective that's getting ready to start August 21st. It's called the Net 7 Collective. April was actually a part of the Net 7 Collective. And we have Black women from all over the country and all different walks of life that come together that are only interested in helping each other build wealth. And so if you're interested in this, please go to Book with Constance. I just opened my calendar up yesterday, bookwithconstance.com. I would love to talk to you. All right. So ladies, Y'all is crazy as shit. And the great thing is, see, we're not stuffy. We're not just sitting here pontificating ad nauseum about the political landscape of America. We can talk about cleaning your coochie. We can talk about Suki and Dr. Umar and making sure that your balls is fresh and making sure our pH balance is right. We can do all of those things because we are a complex group of people. We can talk about what's going on across the globe, across the pond. We can talk about all of those things. And today we choose to talk about yo stank ass. So thank you for tuning in to the Fly Nubian Money. And thank you for subscribing to the Fly Nubian Queen. We will see you tomorrow. Same time, same bat channel. Peace. Oh, give me back the word of the day, Gwen. Word of the day. Word of the day. Ghetto. What was it, Athena?
Ghetto ratchet.
Peace out, y'all. Ghetto ratchet. Ghetto ratchet. Grow your money too.